But the reality of the situation is Zhalgas Zhumagulov arguably got robbed on another fight, drops to 1-5 in his UFC career. Clearly a much better fighter than what his record indicates. But there's also reports that he announced his retirement after this bout, after losing this bout. So you arguably win a fight. You lose in the eyes of the judges. A lot of that, I think, is due to the stoppages, the penalties, because these dudes were kicking each other in the nuts back and forth, eye poking each other. It was no flow to this fight. But what do you make of it? Do you think that I'm reading too much into it? Because as you're answering this, you know where I'm going. MMA decisions. We're about to find out who actually won this fight. So talk to me, brother.
I was getting ready for the screen, Derek, man, because I thought Zalgas won this fight as well, man. He pulled away at the end. He looked good. Johnson also had his moment. So do I think it was a blatant, as bad of a robbery as we've seen in the past? Not so much. But I do think Zhalgas Zhumagulov won this fight. And you can see it right there, man. What, another 10, 12 judges, all but one. The one comes out of Combat Press. All scored it for Zhumagulov. That's what I think, man. And it's rough. It's it has to be rough. One, he's taking home half his purse. So there has to be something going on with for him to want to retire like that. Nonetheless, monetary wise, but also damn, bro, I just beat this dude's ass and y'all gonna literally give it to him, give the dub. All right, I guess I'm out. It could be other things going into there. Could be family stuff with this man. You know how life goes. But it's rough to see somebody retire after a fight that they should have won. And you can see it right there. 3 losses back to back. He did beat up the homie, but I mean, other than that, Julian Paiva, Amir Albazi, this dude, he a lot better of a fighter. And a lot of those, well, 2 of them are split decision losses. Either way, though, I mean, it's rough to see somebody win a fight in everyone else's eyes, but lose it where it counts and then retire possibly because of it. It's not a good look. Rough to see. What do you think, Derek?
It's terrible, man. And the only argument that you could make at this point is don't leave it to the judges, right? That's the only argument that is basically left here. But I do think that is wrong, man. If you watch that fight, I think Zhalgas Zhumagulov did enough to win that first and second round, and then Charles Johnson put the pace on him and won the third round, right? But at the end of the day, you got to think about it like this. Anybody, not just judges, but anybody, you remember the very beginning of a fight and you remember the very end of the fight. The middle just kind of gets lost in translation. And given that there were so many stoppages, so many breaking points and lack of flow, I think it was very easy to just think, oh yeah, Charles Johnson, yeah, he had the momentum. Honestly, when people were watching it, they're like, yo, this fight felt like it took an hour to finish, man, just because it just wouldn't, there was no flow, no continuity to it. Here's what I want to talk about, man, real fast before we move on. First off, impressive performance by Zhalgas Zhumagulov. We both are kind of in agreement. We think that he got the job done. What happened here with Charles Johnson, man? This dude is known for his crispy boxing, his striking being phenomenal. He just not warded off, but he just got off of a fight with Muhammad Makayev where he had to defend 20 plus takedown attempts, right? So you finally get to the bread and butter, we get to the striking, and it felt like he kind of got outstruck the whole entire fight to a degree. I'm going to pull up the numbers while you respond, but what do you think?
Yeah, he did, Derek. Like you said, man, Zalgas looked crispy out there. And when we normally think of Charles Johnson, man, the energy, that's where we think, man, boxing, this dude is slick. And even, I don't know if it was the speed or the timing that did it, that Zalgas had a little bit of edge on him. But he was looking like he was beating Johnson to a lot of the punches, a lot of the head movement, a lot of the reads that were also going down. And normally when I think of Zalgas, I think of kind of a crazy pace kind of a guy, man. Somebody who's wild out there. One of those wiry little guys who's just going to be going crazy, where Johnson's usually the slickster. Didn't really be the case. I mean, we saw it at the end. Like you said, he really put the pressure on. That's where we saw it. And I didn't even look at the strikes there, Derek. My bad. What was the outscoring?
So it actually wasn't nearly as bad as I anticipated. 119 significant strikes in favor of Zhumagulov, 115 for Charles Johnson. Now, Zhumagulov threw more, 234. Johnson threw 209 strikes, right? So honestly, it wasn't that bad as maybe what it appeared in my head, when I was watching it. You're looking at takedowns, 0 for 2 for Charles Johnson, 1 for 4 for Zhumagulov, 1 minute and 3 seconds of control time for Zhumagulov, 57 seconds of control time for Johnson. So this was a close fight. This was a very close fight. So once again, the breakages, the stoppages and all the breaking points, right? I think that's kind of what made it look like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's tough when you have everybody on that, the 10, 12 people to 1 in favor of Zhumagulov, but Charles Johnson gets the win. You got to feel for both guys, but also Charles Johnson, man, he needed to get this was kind of a must win, man. You can't come into the UFC, get starched by Makayev, and then lose again and still carry that hype. Fortunately, the hype will still be here. And in the grand scheme of things, AJ, my question to you before we move on finally is, in the course of someone's career, right? 10 fights down the line from here, is anybody going to remember, oh, that questionable split decision? Or are they just going to be, oh, yeah, he beat Zhumagulov?
Yeah, they're not going to remember it all, Derek. It goes down just on the paper. And everybody, honestly, I think give it a month, give it 2 months. I know in MMA, Uncle Chael always says you're in the press. You got till Tuesday. You got that Monday, you got Sunday, you got Monday, and then you're done. And everybody forgets. So
Yeah.
that's what I would say to Charles Johnson, man. Keep it moving. Forget about it. A lot of people are going to also as well.
The classic sport of what have you done for me lately? I think that's definitely what it is right there. All right, folks.